Welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Langers and I am the Scruffy Trader. And in these videos that you've come across, if you haven't been here before, I just kind of try and show you some of the markets I'm going to look at on any given day, break them down a little bit and give an overview. Now, I'm a little bit late doing it today because I'm currently on doing a week challenge with a micro account, and I always use the same screens for filming, and I've only got one camera, so I'm not that clever at being able to be in two places at once. She is. She can sort of hit and curse at me at the same time. It's quite good.
Really?
Yes. Say that she's doing it right now. You know, well, she hasn't hit me, but she is cursing at me because she's sticking her fingers up. But say that how she made amends. She offered to make me a coffee because we all know Scruffy likes a coffee. And before the trolleys kick in, because they have been having a bit pop about my shape and weight, yes, I do like a pie, and yes, I am in shape. Just so happens this week's shape's a sack of spuds. But I don't need to be an athlete to work these charts. What I do need is a keen mind and a keen eye. And that's kind of what I try and show within these. I am an aging child, I'm afraid. I do have my toys around. I love my toys. But I need them to keep my mind active while I'm waiting on a trade, because the tendency is to overtrade. And if you look at the challenge that I'm doing this week, I make a big thing about less is more, and less is more in trading, full stop. And because of that, you have to wait between trades. Okay, so let's have a look and see what's going on today. Well, straight away, if we look at the economic news, there's quite a bit kicking around today. It's the last day of the month. So the activity should be there. However, when I did the strengths earlier on, they're not. They're pretty. They're not that good at all, to be honest. But anyway, as we look through, the major currencies have all got announcements today. So you've got the pound at 7 this morning. Didn't do a lot, to be honest, because we now at 11 o'clock. Again, 8 o'clock, nothing really happened. The one to watch is around 1 o'clock this afternoon with the dollar. They're normally the only news events I watch when it involves the dollar, unless it's an interest rate. And then I kind of make a keen eye. But as you can see, the only real impact is going to be around 1 o'clock. Oh, isn't she an angel? She is. She's an absolute angel.
I'll remind you of that.
Well, she's actually my Wonder Woman. You thought I was going to say gold bikini there.
You're right.
Actually, that would be a good fantasy. Her, Princess Leia and Wonder Woman. Just a moment.
Hello.
Sorry.
You digress.
Digress. I was having a moment, and it was a wonderful moment. Sorry. If you're under 18, that makes no sense. If you're over 18, you'll be thinking he should have a Mac on, and if you're my age, it's all we've got. Sorry. I'm having a great day today. As I was saying, I was doing the challenge. Breezed it this morning. So I am very, very happy. I actually caught nearly all of that this morning on the DAX rotation, this one here, okay, and got out just roughly on the top. Very rarely it happens you get in very at the bottom and get out very at the top, but today I did, and caught it on camera as well. One shot, straight on. Happy days. So the DAX has done its job very well, okay? But it's talking of before I look at the strengths on sort of cable, etc. The DAX is an interesting market, and I like the DAX. I like it because it's quick. It is a very fluid market. It's very good for retracements and rotations, which is why I like my rotation strategy on it. And there's another good way to trade it, and that's with fibs, if you know what you're doing. But what I will say as a caveat with the DAX is, if you are a relatively new trader, the DAX is a nightmare because it can turn like that. And when it turns, it'll rocket away very, very fast. And it won't think twice of moving 50, 60 pips, points, ticks, whatever you want to call it, in a heartbeat. So you have to be very mindful of your stops. And funny enough, I'm going to touch on that in today's challenge video. But what I will show you is when you look at these moves, when it shifts, and it does, it'll go into a state of consolidation here. Well, it'll consolidate and it's happy, and you can see it consolidate and it's happy. You know, it's in two ways at any one time, this market. It's either going nowhere and then it explodes, and that is it. And when it moves, every move that it makes is an explosion, and you can see that here. You know, consolidated there, wallop, down it came. Consolidation, wallop, there it goes. And what I mean by an explosion is, it doesn't do the little grindy thing like that. It absolutely rockets in a single direction. And again, here, see, it got to the top, boom, down it came. Consolidated a little bit, boom, down it came. So it's consolidating again here. So now you have to figure out whether or not it's going that way or that way. And if you get on the right side of it, result. But treat the DAX with a lot of respect and kid gloves. And the way to trade this is widen your stop, but reduce your position size. Okay. So if you were going to have a 20 pip stop at £1, you are better off having a 40 pip stop at 50p. You're risking exactly the same as a money amount, not necessarily, and you're letting it breathe. And that's how you trade the DAX. If you try and trade the DAX with a tight stop, death by 1,000 cuts every time. Okay, and like I say, I'm going to touch on that. So I said the markets were a little bit flat today, and they are. Now I do this every morning, and I work out currency strength based on what I see on multiple time frames, and I look at it over the last couple of days, and I take an average and various other bits and pieces. Now this section here tries to work out which one is moving very, very quickly, and it needs to be at least double the pace of the market I'm going to pitch it against. So there you have the Swissy at 107 and the CAD at 63. It isn't double, which is why there's nothing coming in here, which then tells me the markets are pretty flat, and they are, because the kind of weighting. And when it becomes like this, I only really look at one market, and that is cable, because cable moves pretty much every day. However, today is an odd one because the strengths are very similar, because I always go back to my day trading pairs. So it's day trading pairs, swing pairs, and then I look at these periodically throughout the day as well. Okay, these are all swing trades, by the way, guys. These are day trade. I then look at change of strength just to get a gauge as to which one might be the mover and the shaker. And if I'm looking at cable, the US is moving up and cable is dropping. Now, following the news events that's kicking off at the moment, various regions getting locked down and one thing and another, and the media having a real go at Boris, it's reasonable to assume that the pound is going to take a bit of a beating. Okay, so let me have a look and see what I'm actually looking at with cable. Okay, just because my strength indicator says the dollar is better than the pound or vice versa, it doesn't give a direction. I'll actually pull it back up and I'll show you what I mean. See, if I look at this, that says the pound is stronger than the dollar, but this side says the dollar is better than the pound. So again, it's kind of confirming that the market isn't going anywhere. It's kind of flat. And one of the reasons I don't give that sheet out, or the calculations for the sheet rather, is too many people thought it was a trigger. And they blindly went into the market based on what was on the sheet. Stupidity. And then I got it in the neck and now nobody's going to get it. All right. So it's just because I was asked last week umpteen times, even though I said no, they still emailed. So sorry, that sheet will not be up. I posted up pretty much every morning. I'm at the screen in the community tab for the Scruffy squad so they can all see it and they can use it as they wish. And you're very, very welcome to see it in the community tab. Okay, so how do I work it out? Well, now I've looked at that, I now know the market isn't going anywhere because there isn't any clear direction with the workings, and the workings come from moving averages, looking at the RSI, various other little bits of indicators that I look and I give them each a score. Anyway, as I look at this, and I always kind of start on a 4-hour marking my key levels. What I've just worked out is kind of ringing true. The market isn't going anywhere. It is absolutely range bound. So I have to think of it from a range bound point of view. There is signs that it's tried to push down, but it is pushing up. It has come over a key level. I'll just make this a bit bigger so you can see it. You can see it's broken the key level even though it's come down, but that and that is telling me the pressure is up over. So this is the 4-hourly. If you put on something as basic as an RSI, you can see it's now on the tipping point. It's getting close to the 50%. Now I like to put a 50% on here, well, or a 50 line, just so I can see. And what it's telling me, the room, you can kind of see it's meandering up. All right, for all that's pointing down at the minute. It's still in the top territory. So that adds weight to these two pushing up. Okay, but that's not quite enough. So we work it down and we can start seeing the makeup of the chart. Yes, we're definitely in a range bound. You can see that here. But it seems to be pushing down. Okay, so there's been a lot of pressure down over this morning. However, it's starting to recover. Again, just looking at a basic RSI, and you can look at the makeup of it. And remember, this is not a trigger, it's a guide to tell you the state of the market. And what it's telling you is there's been a sell-off, and now it's starting to shift round, but it's still on the short side. Okay, so you're adding clues and layers and filters. You can see it between these two levels. So it's still a reasonable assumption that it could maybe get into the middle. And if I take it down a little bit further, what it's now showing you is it's still on the 50 around the area. There's been solid drives up. That's definitely a solid drive up. And this roadblock here is holding the price. So it's a tough one, because this market could go either way. And there's nothing to tell you otherwise. So let's have a look at some moving averages and see if we can add a couple of extra layers to it. Okay, just thicken that up so you can see it. Okay. So again, it's telling me to stay out of the market. And the reason it's telling me to stay out of the market is it's on a range, but it's at the bottom of the range. And this is telling me that it's kind of meandering, if you like. The two moving averages are also conflicting the decision, because the 20 is above the 50 and the price is below both of them. So it's telling me everything is down. So I want to see a break of this 50. If that can get into there, then I'm happy to trade it up to this. And that can give me 15 ticks, you know. If it goes the other way and it holds and it bounces off this 50 and closes underneath this level, and this RSI stays under this 50%, then it's a higher probability it's going to work down here. And I'll still get my 15 ticks because I'm ready to rock. And that's what you have to do in the markets. You look at everything and you think, well, if it does this, I want to go here. But if it does that, I need to go there. And be ready for both ways. But once you've committed your decision, you stick with it. All right. Now, at the moment, this is telling me nothing. Not at all. It's just telling me to stay out of the market. Sit on my hands, if you like. Because if I put on one of my favorite tools, the fib, and I pull that up to there and then move it across, this drive is already completed to the 50%, which is there. Now it hasn't gone anywhere. And this is telling me nothing either. So it's a very, very tough call, you know. And when you have a situation like this, you just don't trade. And it's as simple as that, you know. And it's tough because as traders, you want to be in and out of the markets all the time. Or do you? Well, the answer is no, you don't. You want to wait for your setup. So at the moment, my setup is this. If that breaks the 50, I am happy to place a long trade up based on the pressure points that I've just shown. Okay. But at the moment, it isn't giving me enough to be committed. If the 50 holds and it doesn't go anywhere and it closes underneath this area of interest, this area here, I will place a trade to go down there. But at the moment, it's caught between the two. So I wait. Simple as that. Okay. Now, the rest of the markets that I've been looking at, on Sunday, I said I was interested in this market here, and I still am. The reason I was interested in was because of this drive down here, this one, okay? Because it absolutely slammed down. And I said, if it rejects this level, I'll be looking to get in. Well, quite happy. It paid me. So it is now thinking about this. Like to see it retrace a little bit to get under here. And then I'll be waiting for it to come back with a move up to there. Okay, and that's what I'm looking for on this. This is a very simple, easy trade because that is as strong a move as it can get. It hasn't quite made the 50% yet, So there's some decent moves from around this area, 120 up to there. So again, if you're only looking to get 15, 20 ticks, this isn't a bad contender. Okay, take it to an hourly. And again, you can see it. There's the retracement. It's starting to push up. I want to see it solid close above here first, and then we're off to the races. And even if you just target it to here, so if you got in on the tops of there, there's 7123 to the tops of there, yeah, you're going to get your 15 ticks easy, you know. And then what I have been doing this week is monitoring these. This has been a long-term trade, which if you've been watching me a while, you know I've been in it. Sometimes you have to sit on some heat with some swing trades, and I am sitting on heat here. However, this position that I'm holding is paying these off, and they're now coming to the profit levels where it's pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. These will start paying me and go into risk-free, while this one runs behind, just chucking more and more money into the bank. And talking of money in the bank, this is the swing trade that has been paying me all month, and it looks like it's going to pay me next month as well, because this is completely risk-free regardless of what happens. It's at 1370 as a stop. So if that retraced up, took me out, it's still going to give me sort of 1,370, best part of a wage. And I ain't doing a lot, which is why I'm not day trading much this week, because I don't need to. Okay. If I don't need to trade, I won't. All right. The more time I'm in the market, the more risk I'm at the market, and the more risk I have on the market, the more chances are it's going to take it off me. So less is more is the moral of the story. So quite a chirpy one today. Quite happy. And remember, do what you love, the money will follow. See you all in the next one.